What is up, y'all? It's Danny from the Wise Wolf Podcast. Today, I am going to be talking about how you can learn to accept divine timing and wash away your anxious worries. This stuff is fresh in my brain for, oh my gosh, for so long. Like, especially recently, I've been trying to figure out what I want to do and constantly worrying about how to make ends meet and do I really love doing this and blah blah blah, just constantly worrying about the future and if I'm doing enough now to make a difference for my future. And a couple weeks ago I was literally stressing every day. I was super anxious all day, constantly figuring out do I really want to do this, do I want to do something else, blah blah blah. And I finally was all right, I'm gonna do some meditating. Every day I'm just gonna sit and meditate and ask universe slash source to help me with this, because I am so confused. I just want to know what I'm supposed to be doing, and I want to know what my purpose is, so then I can work on that purpose. And then I want to up level my life. I want to go on with what I'm supposed to be doing here on earth, and I've just been so confused on what that is. So I've been just praying to source to help me answer these questions. And now that I've been through all of that, I've been doing even further research. I've been reading books and listening to podcasts about how to accept who you are and what your identity is, and how to accept divine timing. So now I'm re-summarizing for you guys what took me basically a couple weeks to research and meditate and get knowledge from universe to recite to you guys. But also I've been struggling with this for years. As soon as I got out of high school, which was 6 years ago, so I feel I've been stressing about it for 6 years. What exactly do I want to do? Just constantly worrying about it, because I feel America makes it seem as soon as you get out of high school, you gotta go to college and figure out what you want to do. So I feel a lot of people stress about it, so that's why I want to shine light and help you realize what you want to do and accept the divine timing of how everything pans out. Okay, I feel if you're listening to this, it's because you're constantly worrying about the outcome of what you're doing. You're constantly worrying about the money coming in. You're constantly worrying about your progress, yada yada. And I was there too, and it's so hard when you're constantly worrying, especially if you're you have anxiety that just makes it even worse, or bipolar, depression, any type of mental disorder will even heighten this. And it's so untalked about. Even though I've been into spirituality for a while, I could never understand and accept divine timing, and I was just continuously anxious, even though I kind of knew everything was going to work out for me. So when I was constantly trying to figure out this and this and this and how it's going to work out, it kept me from being authentic. Being authentic is the number one thing that brings you to your highest self, your dream, your goals, literally everything you want in your life comes from being your authentic self. When you're constantly stressing about what's going to happen, the money and your progress and how you're going to get there, you're not being authentic, because you're just constantly in a little hamster wheel in your mind, worrying about this stuff. It's just not going to help you get there. When you turn off that wheel in your mind that's constantly replaying all these things and worrying, when you turn off that wheel, it's silent in your mind. And then it helps you to realize what you love doing and what you enjoy doing and what you feel your purpose is, just by living every day. You just go about your day and you're all right, what do I want to do today? And once you realize what you love, it kind of will guide you towards your purpose and why things are happening the way they're happening. So I'm gonna kind of go off on a different little stem. People are why am I not successful now? Why do I not know what I want to do now? They just want instant results, because I feel especially in today's world with social media and everything just going on, we want just like quick results. Everything just like happens so fast. Like you open your phone and you press Instagram and it pops up right away. Like humans now, like we don't have very much patience, and we're meant to have patience and wait for divine timing, and nothing's supposed to happen right away. Think if like you were born, you grew up, and once you like left your parents' house at 18, you knew exactly what your purpose is and you started doing that purpose. There's no fun in that. Like there's no, like, I don't know, you don't learn anything. You're literally not human. It's like also if you're in a relationship and you don't argue ever, you just constantly agree on everything, like how boring would that be? Like we're not supposed to not go through hardships. Hardships and going through all these bad things is literally what makes us human. Like life would be so boring without the like bullshit. So I feel like you just need to accept that like it's yin and yang, and there's two parts, the good and the bad, and they have to work together in order for us to be like the happiest version of ourselves, and recognize that we worked hard to get here, and there is a meaning for us to go through every single thing in life in order to get where we are, or get where we were supposed to get where we were supposed to go. Okay, so I want to break down how you can accept divine timing in your life and wash away like constantly being anxious about the future. I kind of broke it down into 3 sections. So I feel like if this is something you struggle about, you should definitely get some paper to like kind of write these down so you can constantly like remind yourself of these things to help you like kind of rewire your brain to not be anxious about the future and how things are going to work out for you. Because I feel like sometimes when you listen to like a podcast or read a book, it kind of like floats away in your mind, especially if you're like so hardwired to be anxious constantly, which is me. I really want to like actually write a book so people can like everything I talk about on podcasts, like how cool to be to just like have it in a book. So then like you could carry it around, or you can just like kind of open to a chapter and be like, oh yeah, like yada yada yada, instead of sitting and listening to an entire podcast. Like sometimes you just want to like flip to a certain section, and I feel like that would be so much easier with a book. And I've always wanted to write a book. So yeah, you should take some notes if you're struggling with this. So the first like part of this is to notice divine timing incidences. So when I was reaching out to universe to like help me understand divine timing and stop being so anxious about the future and like what I'm supposed to do for my purpose, I was like constantly meditating and asking it to like show me. And divine timing, dude, it was crazy. Like the amount of like things that happened exactly how they were supposed to. So these are kind of like little things, but if you need to be open-minded, like if you want to communicate with the universe, you need to be open to like what they're trying to say to you, and like realize that everything happens for a reason. So like that's kind of what I did when I was asking universe for guidance. So like immediately after I like started meditating on this, I was driving somewhere, and I was driving on the road, and someone on the other side of the road was completely in my lane, like coming towards me completely in my lane. And as like as soon as I like got towards them, they drifted back in their lane, or like it just happened so fast. I don't know. But anyways, so like they drifted perfectly back into their lane, and then I passed them. And I'm like, okay, what if I got into my car from the gas station 10 seconds earlier? Like what if I just like walked around the store a little bit more and then drove off? Could have hit them. Like that 10 seconds of like purpose and the way things are supposed to pan out, like it's crazy how like much of a difference that could make. Like if I was 10 seconds early on the road, I could have been completely hit. I was going like 50 miles per hour. I could have been completely smashed. Like shit would be like so wild. Like things happen exactly how they are supposed to happen. And something that's not as like crazy as that is like another thing with my car. I have been having trouble with like my battery connection, And my brother-in-law like works on cars and like has a lot of car knowledge. So I was like texting him and like explaining what has been happening and how it's like super frustrating. And so I'm not like up where my sister lives a lot. I'm more like south. I was up there in that area and I texted my brother-in-law that morning about what was happening. And then I was at a red light after leaving the grocery store, and exactly to my left was my brother-in-law. I have never ever seen him on the road before. And like the fact that I needed his help that day, like I haven't reached out to him for help in like probably a year or two. Like I don't really ask for help ever. But I was like, this is probably something so small, I'm not gonna take my car in. But the fact that I reached out for help that morning, and then at the exact same time, I was at a red light exactly next to him. And then we like rolled down our windows, and I actually ended up going back to his place so he could fix it, and he did. So thank you, Kedrick. um, but like the way that that panned out, I was like, holy shit, that's crazy. Like, what? Like, I've once before, like a couple years ago, saw someone at a red light, but it wasn't as like meaningful and like connected as this was because I like needed his help and texted him that morning. And I do not text him because, you know, he's a bad texter, but that's besides the point. It's just like weird how that happened. And like, there's other little things that just like you need to start noticing. Like, when something happens, if you're like, whoa, that's crazy, and you kind of just forget about it, you need to sit in that and be like, wow, like that panned out exactly how it was supposed to, like perfectly. And if that didn't happen, I wouldn't be where I am today. Like that shit's wild. You could even like write down some incidences of like crazy things happening to make you further believe that the universe has a plan. Like, don't rush it. Just be present and experience life, and everything will work out the way it's supposed to. All right, my second part to learning to accept divine timing is to understand it. You need to understand that things don't always work out for you for a specific reason. If you really have been needing a job and you applied to this place you really wanted to go, you didn't get hired and you're like pissed about it, you're like, what the fuck? I like nailed that interview. I'm a great worker. Like, I don't understand why they wouldn't hire me. And then literally like a couple days later, you get a job that has benefits, more pay, you actually enjoy it, has great hours, and you got that job. If you'd have gotten hired at the other job and you're pissed that you didn't get it, what if that job was way worse? Like, you didn't have benefits, you didn't have good hours, you didn't actually end up liking the job. Like, you were not hired for a reason. That thing that you think was really shitty that happened in order for you to get the other job that's way better. Like, universe panned that out for you. My little sister recently crashed her car, and she was like really pissed about it, which like is totally understandable. It was like her second car in like a year or two that like she crashed because she recently totaled her car hitting a deer, I think last year. So she totaled this car at a light because someone didn't brake. Anyways, she was like pissed about it for days. I remember she was really mad, and I was trying to like help her out and be like maybe this happens for a reason, like things are gonna work out, like trying to help her. And like she didn't really take that, which is like, it's fine, it's just hard for people to like understand until you like sit down and like open your mind to it. But the crazy thing is that, so I think she bought her car for like $1,500 because it had like a lot of miles, and like things were starting to break. I remember her like clutch kept becoming like undone from like the lever because it's a stick shift. So it kept coming like undone, and then she brought it to the shop and they're like, yeah, like soon you're gonna need a new clutch, which is like $1,500. But then they were saying like it's not even worth it to invest in the car because the car has like 230,000 miles, and they're like, it's not even worth it to invest a clutch into it. I would just scrap the car, get a whole new car. And she was like pissed because she's like, I just got this car and now like it's gonna need a new clutch, but like it's not even worth it. Like, what the fuck am I gonna do? Like, this is just ridiculous, and like yada yada. But when she crashed her car, So remember, her car was $1,500. She crashed her car and she got like $3,000 back from insurance. And like she was fine. Like her car got totaled and everything, but like she was physically fine, like didn't have to go to the hospital. But we talked about it after it happened and she was like, we both agreed like this was supposed to happen, this shitty thing was supposed to happen because like the universe had a plan for her to get a new car. So like it worked out the way that it was supposed to. Alright, now I'm going to branch out to the third and final part of learning to accept what the universe has planned for you and to accept divine timing. And it's the last part is accept. So this is kind of just like what I was saying before. You need to accept that the universe has a plan, even though like shit is happening. Like it feels like everything bad is happening to you. Like it's happening for a reason. You need to have a good outlook about everything, the good and the bad, knowing that like these are the steps you gotta take to become the best version of yourself. I'm gonna quote Russ here. He has said in the interview, I think multiple times, he says, I understand that I don't understand. And in this part, he's like referring to when like people of color are like talking about like the hard times. He will say, I understand that I don't understand. So basically, what like Russ is saying in this instance is that he will never understand how people of color feel, but he understands that he won't understand. So he's trying to like sympathize with them, but also like letting them know that he will never understand like that feeling of what they're going through. So how the quote, I understand that I don't understand, relates to the universe's plan for you is that a lot of times you will not understand why some shit is happening to you, but you need to understand that you don't understand why it's happening, but you're still trusting in the universe and that you know that everything is going to work out for you in the end. So you just need to accept it and try not to take everything to heart. So let's say you do all these steps and you finally are accepting that everything happens for a reason, you're noticing divine timing incidents in your life. So once you finally feel like you're getting on the right path to like trusting the universe, this is going to raise your frequency. And if you've listened to my other podcast, you know that raising your frequency is working like the law of attraction to pull your dreams towards you. I go deeper into explaining the law of attraction and frequency in my other podcast. I'm not really going to go that deep into this because I could ramble for like 20 minutes about it. So if you want to learn more about attracting your dreams with the law of attraction and frequencies, just go back to that podcast. So kind of going off of accepting yourself and universe's plan is when you're being authentic and accepting the plan, your authentic self will put you on your path to your dreams. So this means like when you are not enjoying something that you're doing anymore, don't keep doing it because you think like, oh, but this is going to get me this is going to get me to this place. If you don't want to do it anymore, even if you spent 10 years doing it or whatever, don't do it anymore. Don't keep doing it because you think that like this is what's going to make me successful, this is what's going to make me a lot of money. It's not going to end up working in the long run if you're going to keep being miserable doing what you're doing. And universe probably put that in your path so you can learn from whatever that was and thrive in that, but now it has a different path for you to go on. A lot of people feel like there's only one path. Like there's so many people where, oh, like I'm a famous singer and I have been performing like little shows for my family since I was 4, or I've been on the piano since like I was 6 years old playing music. Like just because they like felt more pull to it since they were little doesn't mean that when you're 25 or 28 years old, now you want to get into sewing, or now you want to start playing musical instruments, now you want to become a teacher. Like, it is never too late. Everyone's journey is different, and you just got to accept that. And I know it's so hard because we feel like we have a limited time on this earth, but everyone has to go through specific endures in order to get to this like point, I guess. And also there's never a final destination. Like the only final destination is death. There's always going to be new things that you want to accomplish, new dreams, new desires. It's like a never-ending cycle. You're not going to always want the same thing. So you need to accept change and accept that there's more than one destination or like things that you want to accomplish. I feel so deeply about this because I feel like there's so many like passions and things I've like done. I'm what's the word where like someone that just like loves a bunch of things but never really gets very good at one thing. That's definitely me. And that's a lot of people. You could like love multiple things and you could do like something you love for like 5 years, do something else for like 10, do another craft or passion for 2 years, and then like just keep going from there. Like it's not always a linear line. It's gonna sometimes it's just paths in different places, and that's completely fine too. One of my final little notes I just want to like touch base on in my notebook is to do what you love and don't settle for less. I know so many people that are settling. Don't settle. I have even another podcast that helps you to realize how to get out of your way and achieve your dreams and get on that path again. I think that's like my first episode if you want to go back. Cuz you just are worth so much more. You're not worth this 9 to 5 that you hate and coming home to just clean the house, watching a movie and going to bed. Like no, that does not have to be your life. You can do so much more. It's just about applying yourself and manifesting your dream life. Just know that you're so much worth so much more, and I hope you never quit your daydream. So that is the end of this podcast. I feel like I rambled a lot, but maybe that's good because I feel like a lot of people resonate when I ramble. If you really liked this episode, I would really, really appreciate it if you left a review on my podcast, because not only does it push me to like want to create more podcasts for you guys, but also it helps get my word out and my knowledge from universe to other people and help other people accept themselves and accept that they are capable of achieving their dream life. Also, the good vibes and the love that you put out into the universe, like helping me out with my reviews, will also turn around and come back to you. What goes around comes around. I strongly stand by that. Yeah, so thanks for listening, and I hope to see ya or hear ya next time.